in podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that crowler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live, episode 189, Better on Draft podcast. We are back after a 1-week hiatus, and we are ready to get back into the swing of things. Nick, how you doing?
I am so glad it's Friday.
It is. It's so always glad. Friday most of the time.
Most of the time. Sometimes Saturdays in the morning.
Yeah, we've recorded the show on many days, but 99% of the time it's been Fridays.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking on this Friday?
Well, I got I'm trying this Alpha King from Three Floyds that you picked up for me a couple weeks ago. And then my new favorite brewery in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. That's the actual name of the province. Dildo Brewing. Yes, that's the name. And it's their Red Rocks Irish Red. I'm
a little excited for that. I was in Canada last weekend, and I got a chance to try a nice little amber. It was a little too bitter for me. What was interesting, though, I went to the LCBO, and the guy, I asked him if he had any alt beers there.
And the answer was?
I don't know what an alt beer is. So he was just a shelf stocker, but he pulled out his phone in the cooler, searched alt beer, and the beer store or LCBO allows you to search for what products are in the store itself.
Yep.
And he wound up finding an alt beer, and it was literally right to the right of him.
Oh,
so we got
a perfect spot.
We got an alt beer as well as we got a can of poppers.
Yeah,
from the hit show.
Some of our mutual friends have been posting all about that on the Facebook.
It's a beer that is from the hit show Letterkenny.
Okay.
So if you watch Letterkenny, you actually have seen the poppers itself.
Gotcha.
Usually it's in a bottle. We got it in a can, so I brought some home for people. I didn't bring any today. I brought some dill aquavit to try. But Matt, how you doing over there? You're
a little late.
Well, you're probably selling some homes.
As the bond yield curve would say, I was inverted.
You were inverted, okay.
I was out.
All right, Maverick.
Showing houses.
You drinking anything right now? Or I know you just kind of sat down. You got your Diet Vernors, you got your
my
Pringles.
Diet Vernors, no alcohol yet.
He's got Pringles.
I have something to talk to us about later.
It's
not beer content, but maybe it's good for radio.
Okay.
I need to figure out how to work with my terrible, terrible neighbor next door. Today was phase 1 of that project, to where I found a YouTube streaming list called the 16 most annoying songs for your neighbor.
Oh God!
I stopped my house or my laptop from hibernating, and I put a Bluetooth speaker in my window.
Oh no!
So
wow, come on,
they're that bad.
All right. Well, we're not going to get into that yet. But Rob, how's it going?
Just getting through beer 1,000 barrels a year at a time. Doing what I can.
Doing what you can. What are you drinking over there?
Right now, I am drinking a Slider Rule from Urban Artifact. It is a chocolate raspberry goza.
Man, I tell you what, you are continuously drinking gozas and sour. I think your palate is officially turned over to the dark side.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I still fucking hate this style. But
I don't know.
I'm going to keep trying. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep trying. I mean, it will. Honestly, with Slider Rule, I've had Slider Rule before. And Urban Artifact is really just still new to Michigan because they just got here roughly 3 weeks ago. It may have been a little longer than that. But whenever I would go visit the in-laws, I would always stop at the Party Source right at the border, at Kentucky and Ohio, and they sell Urban Artifact. And that was one of the ones that, just by it being chocolate raspberry, I just said, I don't care what style it is, I'm going to try this. And this was one of those few back before, I was really hating this style, that this was one that I actually liked. So
I don't think this isn't sour, or it's just masked by the chocolate.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit masked
like
by
a chocolate fruit beer.
Right. I mean, it's not like it's not masked like the Watusi Moonshot from Rogue, because as much as they say that's a kettle sour, it's caramel and apple, and that's it. There's no sour to it. So that one masks it all. I mean, there's a little bit of sourness to this, and I think it's enjoyable.
Well, we do have a couple guests in studio today as we are back. Let's start with my left. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, what you do.
My name is RJ. I was born right here in Michigan and primarily in Warren. And I am the proprietor of Recolte Meads.
Proprietor of Recolte Meads. Do you brew there? Do you?
I'm still in training. I'm definitely crawling compared to Julijana over here.
Quality assurance tester.
I pick things up and I put them down. And Julijana allowed me to make my first 2 batches, and I did that on my own. So
Nice.
2 of them without getting botched. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Well, RJ, next to you, I think she just introduced herself. Why don't you introduce yourself? What do you do at Recolte?
I am the mead maker. I make the mead.
Okay. Is this your first mead making, like,
It is.
big position? Did you make it at home before?
I
or?
did.
Okay.
I did do a lot of home brewing. And, it's a funny story of how that got started. But
Well, why don't you tell us? How did
We
you
got-
start
we got
home
you for
brewing?
the next 2 hours. So let's just run this through.
yeah. How I got started is I had a tenant who was behind on her rent. And in order for her to catch up on her rent, her father, I found out, was like an apiary. He kept bees and everything. So I kind of bartered with her, and I was like, hey, how about you just give me honey in lieu of your rent, and we'll call it, even until next month. So I got 8 buckets, 5-gallon buckets of honey.
Wow.
And so I started brewing from there. Like, I had no idea. Like, I YouTubed everything because, I was always interested in doing it, and I watched people do it, but I've never done it myself. So I had a lot of tries to get it right.
Now, how much mead or how much honey do you typically put into a batch of mead?
Depending on how high of an alcohol I want it to be, probably about 12 buckets. That'll be around 10%.
Wow. I'm still new to mead, so I'm just imagining that is a lot of honey for
Yeah, we get our work out of it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
50 gallons.
It's
Yeah.
not 50 gallons. We do primarily 650 gallons per batch.
Oh wow.
But to make it half that, which is 10%, it's we did 325 in it.
Gallons of honey.
Not honey, but I thought you were talking about batch size. So
I was thinking, how many of those big buckets would you put into, a
Yeah.
batch of mead?
10 to 12, yeah. Depending.
Oh, my.
Yeah, if I wanted like say a 20%, like I put like 22 buckets in there. So
And for definitely for those who wonder why mead costs so much,
That's your reason why.
that is that I think is your reason, because I mean that's a lot of honey, and I mean hell, even just going to Costco and just getting
Yeah.
one of those bottles,
the teddy bear squeeze bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, damn, that's like
or that
$21.
honey from what is it, like Tasmania or something? It's like $50 for like a quart.
Oh,
It's crazy.
jeez.
Yeah.
Like how much does like a gallon of honey like actually cost?
1 gallon?
Yeah.
Is there a market
Well,
price on that?
like
Oh, definitely, because there's so
Yeah.
many things that you can
Yeah.
make with honey, like and especially baking too. There's a market for bulk buying of honey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a bucket of honey right now is, anywhere between $2 to $2.50. So, and that's 5 gallons. So that's just kind of an idea, depending on what type of honey you're looking for.
Do you guys cultivate or not cultivate yourselves, but do you guys get your honey from Detroit
oh yeah.
bee farms or okay?
Yep.
Do you?
We only exclusively use wildflower honey.
Okay, that was the next question. Is that do you guys differentiate between the kinds of honey based on the flowers that they pollinate?
Nope, it's all wildflower.
Okay.
I mean, people can say like, oh, this bee or this particular honey is all alfalfa, stuff like that, unless they tracked every bee, to make sure they were feeding off of alfalfa. But if it's predominantly like an alfalfa field or something like that, but they travel far, so.
Yeah.
I mean, color is different and taste even, so.
Do you get a chance to go down to the farms and check out like the bees
We
like put on the
don't.
suit or?
Oh no, we don't. We have one guy that we buy from. He's actually right in Grosse Pointe Park, and he has his bees up north somewhere.
I think it's in Metamora.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. Honey Point.
So he like
Farms.
rents them out and
Yeah.
help the farmers like pollinate their crop and stuff. So
With the how long does it take for like a batch of honey to be made by bees? Because like we talk about like growing hops and stuff and cultivating. Because I know the big thing that's been going on, and I know National Geographic did this huge thing about urban beekeeping down in Detroit because there's just so much space.
yeah, there is.
Like how long would it take to cultivate that much honey that you guys use per?
Boy, I have no idea.
That's okay.
That would be like a beekeeper question.
That'd probably be a fun show to bring in a beekeeper and try a few different meads.
Yeah, bees in the D. You'll probably.
Yeah, bees in the D
Yeah,
is
they'll
a
come in,
big
yeah.
group. I know Dana out of Bee Nectar talks about bees in the D all the time.
Yeah, he's very, very into it. He's part of the whole thing.
Well, you said you started with home brewing, and you said the home brewing kind of started with getting a bunch of honey. Were you brewing any beers, or was it just straight mead with the honey?
Nope, just mead.
Just mead. What was the
Yeah.
first kind of mead you made?
Black raspberry, because I had a black raspberry bush in my backyard.
Okay.
Nice.
Sounds good.
So I picked, me and the kids picked all the black raspberries, and I gave them a few to eat, but then I kept the rest of it to make the mead. It turned out really good. So,
Are you making a black raspberry mead now over at Recolte?
oh yeah,
Is it from your bush back at home, or
I won't. Yeah, I don't have enough.
don't have enough? Okay.
So you're not pulling
Oh,
a
she's so
Shram's
greedy.
here in his own backyard.
Yeah.
So, what was the progression like from home brewing to thinking I can do this
Oh my
and
gosh.
make money out?
Yeah,
Very
it's
stressful?
foolish.
Stressful.
It's hard.
Ulcers,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It was a lot of trial and error because there's really not that much literature out there to go from 5 gallons to 1,000 liters and stuff like that on how much to use, how much yeast, and all this other stuff, the fruit ratio and the nutrient and everything like that. So it was just a lot of trial and error, and we lost a little bit of money in the beginning
Yeah.
because the meads did not turn out quite the way I wanted them to. But sometimes if you let them age out for a while,
They kinda
they'll
come
turn
back.
better. Yeah,
Okay.
they'll
Yeah, it all
turn better.
depends. I mean,
So
it
we're
just basically
keeping them in the
escalated.
corner.
Yeah, I mean, we started off from 20 to 50 gallons and just kind of, started to base that on that type of ratio and just kind of increased everything. And when we felt comfortable enough to go to our, huge fermenter, so that's kind of what happened.
What kind of shelf life do you see with a lot of your meads? Like, what would you suggest, like, from date of bottling or date of kegging?
I mean, for me personally, I have not had one go bad at all, and I've had some for years. I
Okay.
think it's like a wine. It's the characteristics and the flavors change as they age. And of course, depending on how it's bottled, if there's air in there, there's room for like oxidation and everything. But typically, I mean, they have a very long shelf life.
We've had the pleasure of, having mead that has been on a shelf for, 10 years. Some of it filtered, some of it not. Some of it actually still have fruit in it. So it's always turned out really nice to drink. It just depends. So, but I've never had a bad mead sitting on a shelf anywhere between 5 to 10 years.
Someone in our chat room mentioned that they actually got to meet you guys at Hot Glass and Cold Beer. What did you guys think of that event? Because it was pretty limited in regards to the amount of breweries that were over there.
Yeah.
It's different because of obviously live glass blowing, I think, was there. What did you think of the event in comparison to maybe any other events that you've been to?
Well, it is a very intimate event, and it was really cool because we were actually right where the glass blowing was. So, we had like baloney pits and like sweat was coming down our face.
Yeah, we were not
but-
attractive. We're just a hot mess of sweat.
But
Smelled horrible.
just everyone there had such a great appreciation for the art that was going on and the art of like all the breweries and the meaderies that were
Yeah.
there. I think it was just ourselves and
St. Ambrosia.
St. Ambrosia
Yeah, I mean,
who were there, which we love. St. Ambrosia.
just the craft industry being there, in general. And there were some people that tried our meat and they said, you know what, it's not for me, but this is really cool. This is this is amazing. So there's some people that absolutely embraced it and loved it.
Well, the craft industry is just exploding as we're seeing here in Michigan because we've had so many people between cideries, meaderies, wineries, and of course breweries.
And seltzeries.
We haven't had a seltzer technically yet.
Give it time.
We make a seltzer drink. It's called our Buzzer.
Oh, okay.
Hopping on that
all right,
bandwagon.
Well, with all these new companies, though, they're going to need people to make the drinks, which is why Schoolcraft College has an award-winning brewers in their brewing and distilling program. Learn this craft the best in the beautiful facilities at the Livonia campus. For more information, please visit schoolcraft.edu/brewing.
You slid that in pretty good.
Thank you very much.
You did it.
And speaking of all these amazing drinks, let's bust something out and let's get
Yes.
a tasting for sure.
Definitely.
The cooler is right next to me, but I'll let you
Lead the
decide
way.
the first drink, and we'll kind of just pass it around and pour it.
You guys want to start off with a Bloody Mary?
I mean,
She's
that's
even
how
got the garnish.
that's how you start.
You got the garnish too.
That's kind of how you start the day,
Go
right?
big or
You
go
start with
home.
the Bloody
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, I mean, it
Unless
is
you're
a-
Canadian and you drink a Caesar.
Well, I apologize. I thought we only had 3 people, so I only brought 3 garnishes. So you guys will probably have to share. I don't know how
I'll
you guys
skip out.
feel
It's
about
okay.
that.
I'll skip out on the garnish.
Yeah, that's fine.
go.
That's
Make it
fine.
for these two.
Now, one thing while you're doing that, one thing that was interesting to me that I was looking at is that normally when you talk about meaderies, that everything that I've always seen has always been in a bottle. I'm not used to seeing mead in a can.
And
So is
Wow.
there like a different process to canning it, or I don't know. Don't you?
No, I'm laughing because it seemed like he just keeps pulling more and more out.
more
It's
cans
like a
out of that
bottomless
cooler.
hat,
I'm
like-
like,
I
oh
had to
my
pick one of
gosh.
each. So
Like the magician's finding the rabbit in there.
But the handkerchief keeps
pulling-
coming out of the pocket. Yeah.
Then I retract.
yeah, I will put them back so they stay nice and cool. But yeah, no, I had to. I was really nervous and excited about being here, so I didn't know what to bring exactly.
Oh, they
Oh
know.
yeah, we're
It's-
easy.
it's nothing.
But yeah, to back to Rob's point. I mean, we're used to seeing it.
I'm used to seeing bottles. I mean,
We do. We have our very cute fancy bottles that we sell, and we also do canning as well. So if you come into our meadery, whatever's on tap or whatever cocktail or mead cocktail that we make,
Sure.
we can put it in a can for you, can it right on the spot, and you can walk out with it. And that was a conscious choice on our part because we are in Grosse Pointe Park. We're by the water.
Oh.
You know, take it on the boat.
Take it on the boat.
You know,
Yeah.
you take it on the boat. You can take it by the pool. It's not glass, you know.
Right.
So,
Even better.
yeah. And plus, it's a cheaper cost as well than a bottle, so you save a few bucks.
So explain while
That looks like
while
a
she's
Bloody Mary,
making
all
the
right.
Bloody Mary, like what is going into this mead and the production of it?
So the Bloody Mary is made with our tomato mead
Okay.
and our cucumber mead. So both of them are mixed, and so this we mix just at like our place in Kercheval, you know, and it's just a cocktail that we make. It's not something that we would sell like in a can. Unless they want to take it out.
So this
that day.
isn't on
but,
tap?
But it's not like it's
These are
not on
bottled.
tap. It's a what do we call it?
It's
Mead
A mead tail?
Well,
mead mixer.
Well, it's one of our mead mixers. So we have a cucumber, kind of cucumber gimlet type of to kind of represent the, juniper and the gin.
Yeah, it's
we have our
very
mead mixers.
dry.
Our
It's a really
cucumber.
nice cucumber.
Yeah. So we've got probably about 4 or 5 of them that we're pretty proud of that people absolutely love. You know.
And that mix is made in house, so we have
Nice.
a blender back there. So
It's like you
Just make it when
associate
we go low.
mead like fruity. You wouldn't expect
Mostly,
it like,
yeah.
Tomato's a fruit.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna go
Look, I know it's a fruit, but I'm talking about fruit. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
the whole tomato is it a vegetable or a fruit thing. Okay.
You mean like
I'm
produce with seeds?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I'm kind of a little scared to try it because it's just
I'm not because I love
The-
Bloody
the-
Mary, so we're gonna give it a shot.
everything behind it makes sense, but I don't think I've ever
this
heard of
smells
a.
good.
This
Is
punk
there
over
any
here
other
is-
company that makes a tomato mead?
I don't think so.
I haven't heard of it.
It's good.
It's good. All right,
yeah.
let's just dig in.
Wow.
If you didn't tell me this was meat, I wouldn't guess it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So
Wow.
it's
If
a small
V8
mix.
was like this,
I was gonna say I get a lot more V8 than anything in there, but a
Shit.
little bit smoother and
If
not.
V8 was like this, I'd be the healthiest motherfucker you knew.
Yeah, that tomato mead is, boy, it's interesting making that one. I tell you, it's it takes a long time, and because it's very acidic, so you have to really balance it out with putting more honey in there and kind of making it smoother. But the more it ages, the more of the tomato flavor comes out. Because I had to experiment with that too, like which type of tomatoes give us the most flavor.
Which kind of tomatoes did you end up using to make the tomatoes?
Unfortunately, the most expensive tomatoes I could probably get.
Of course.
Yeah, they were those dumb sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh,
And it was just,
wow.
they're very expensive.
Yeah, those are very expensive.
Yes, so I use those like at the end.
Okay.
I'll do like regular, like a 3-blend, like Roma, beefcake, and I don't remember the next one, but that I'll ferment it with that, add more, and then at the end, as it, I've racked it over twice or something, I'll
Also
put in
added some pepper.
Yeah.
Big
like
moose bag of black pepper as well.
Yes. Very nice.
I don't think I want to know the answer, but what's the ABV on something like this?
That one's not that high. It's only 8%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Matt's sold. I'm game over. He's
Goodbye, White Claws. Hello, Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I think to Matt's point and Rob's point, if you would have said that this was a mead, I would never would have guessed.
Give me a dash of like
Tabasco or something.
Tabasco,
Yeah.
Worcestershire, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're a spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Mary guy? Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you got to come in and we'll make one for you.
Okay.
So tell
Challenge
us.
accepted.
Yes. I was in last week. What are you talking about? I was doing market
there.
research.
She was there.
I was so happy that you were there and, to find out who you were. And I was just really happy they were enjoying the flights. And I said, okay, well, next time you come in, we'll definitely experiment with those mead mixers. So
This is good. This is good.
thank you very much.
So you guys do flights. Do you guys make anything else other than just mead over there? Because with
We
the
do
winemaker's
wine, yeah,
license,
wine and
you
cider.
said the seltzer. So you do ciders too.
Yeah, we do cider. I have right now just one on tap. It's a farmhouse cider, so it's a little funky. It just fermented. I just let it ferment all by itself.
Oh.
I didn't pitch any of my own yeast or anything like that, and it came out really nice. It's got like a very clean apple taste to it, like a crisp taste, and then it ends with like a little funk to it, which I like it.
So let's talk about Recolte specifically. You okay there?
Yeah, bug just ready to go up my nose.
So how long have you guys been open? Where are you guys? Give us the whole origin story.
So we have been open since April 21st, I believe.
Oh.
So
Not that long.
we just opened, yeah.
Wow.
We're in Grosse Pointe Park on Kirchville and Beaconsfield. If you need a landmark, we're right across from the Red Crown. Used to be the old Standard Oil gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is in the village then, right? Or is this down the
park.
street? Oh, the park.
The park,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
There's a lot of the points, and
Yep.
we can't get it wrong.
Yes.
We are in Grosse Pointe Park.
So I guess when you guys opened in Grosse Pointe Park, how was the process of opening a meadery in a city like Grosse Pointe Park? We hear the stories with breweries all the time. Most of the time, they're generally pretty accepting and excited. So there's
They were excited.
There's
They were very
nervous.
happy. They were very happy, and the process was actually pretty painless with them. They were pretty excited to have new business come in to their park area. Because I don't know if you guys have been down there. I know you said that you had gone.
occasionally.
It's small, and it's just starting to grow down there. And we're pretty excited with all the change happening, and that maybe we had gotten in at the right time, before the boom started. So we're hoping.
Yeah, the community definitely has been very welcoming, and running into people that have been there, living there for 15, 20 years. It's nice to have them come in and hear them talk about how 15, 20 years ago, or even just 10 years ago, that it was
Yeah, there was
just
nothing.
tumbleweeds. There was nothing there,
Right.
and they were just so happy that new, lively things are coming, along, and hopefully we're part of that.
And especially something that's I don't know. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. You guys, like
You're wrong.
Shut up. You're a jerk. Me being kind of like a niche.
He's not wrong about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
him being a jerk. Yeah, I know. But me being kind of like a niche
absolutely.
market, and people not really sure what it is.
Oh
but-
yeah, there's so many
there's a
people
lot of
that come in
people.
and ask
Yeah.
us if we have prosciutto. You know, and it's like, no, we don't sell meat.
Yeah.
We sell mead.
That
Yeah.
could be. I mean, that could work. Meads and meats.
It's so
Well,
funny.
we do
there
have
was,
charcuterie boards, so
yeah, it was so funny. We both work at a hospital, and she stopped me in the OR at one point, and she goes, "Why is everybody talking to me about prosciutto?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And then it dawned on me that people were under the impression that our meadery was
That
either
we're
a butcher
saying
shop or
meats,
we're
yeah.
like
Right.
specifically just a charcuterie board tasting room. And,
I mean, it kind of sells itself. Like you could open up a butcher shop and call it a meadery.
yeah. So, but no, it was kind of funny. And then when people find out exactly what we do, and we do have the charcuterie boards with these, very Mediterranean, European, authentic meats, it kind of just works out. So, it's okay. And although we are a niche, and we had a few people, that, were kind of telling us, "Oh, you're not going to work out there." We're there, and we hope that we grow, and that's it.
we will prove you
So what
wrong.
did you just?
I hope so.
I was gonna say that sounded a little
I mean, did
hostile.
they give
I
reasons?
like it. I like that.
What's
That's
that?
awesome.
Did they give reasons as to why they didn't think it would work out?
No, I feel that some people,
I just feel they're comfortable with no change.
yeah, I think just people just have nothing nice to say sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's okay though. Their opinion, does go a long way, and it just makes me want to, work harder and smarter at it. And I hope, like I said, I hope we do grow, and that's it.
Who's the one that names your drinks?
After a lot of alcohol consumption, it's both of us.
Okay.
We absolutely love and respect our team members. So initially, when we first hired them, we put them behind the bar right away, gave them our base meads, and we said, "Hey, we're going to have a chopped episode here, except we want you to turn our meads into, mead mixers." So if they're mead
that's
mixers, yeah, they really had a blast with it. And basically, if they're mead mixers, were approved by myself, Julie, and two other really good friends of ours that are in the industry, we allowed them to name them. So it was pretty cool. And
Well, the meat mixers also have pretty interesting. I'm on your website
Sure,
right
sure.
now. So one of them is called "I Said Peach."
yeah,
That's me.
That was my favorite though, because this is something that is definitely the dad joke of the entire thing, and it's called "Namaste and Drink."
I love that one.
The names of alcohol is just so. That's
Crazy.
basically Matt's job.
Yeah.
Matt could have a second
That's all
career as
you,
just
man.
naming alcohol. Do you have a good name for the Bloody Mary? Do you guys have a name for the Bloody Mary other than
Yeah.
Bloody Mary?
No, we just basically, I love the show True Blood, and a lot of people obviously out there are like, my God, vampires, it was a thing, it was a niche, and I'm like, that
There
was
there was a
I'm sorry,
slayer
there
of
was a-
vampires once.
yeah, I mean,
Her name was
I thought
Buffy.
I love that show, and I absolutely right when I had our first True Blood, we were actually making it in the production facility and had a bunch of friends there, and I immediately said, this is going to be True Blood, and I thought it was a sexy drink. It looked pretty, it looked awesome, and that was the first thing.
So what did you most recently pour us? What's this dark beverage?
That's our Dunn's Inferno. We're very, very, very proud of that. We were very hesitant about it. We weren't sure if it was going to sell. Long story short, we both work at Straith Hospital, and one of the surgeons there, Dr. Stephen Dunn, he is a huge supporter of everything that we are doing. And he was telling Julie that, when he was in France at one point, he had this red wine that was very sweet, but also had a little bit of heat behind it. So Julijana pulled, I think 20 gallons or so off as a test batch, and she threw a bunch of anchillo chilies in there. And
I'm shaking his head, yes.
I'm like, man, I'm getting Bloody Mary pepper residual still in this drink, and I'm like, no, it's just adding to the.
yeah. So
I don't get any heat in this.
I'm a wuss. We
I know.
this. Like I don't
I
understand
get it.
why.
It's like in the back of my throat.
it is,
That's
and
fair.
people say that it hits
That
them
was
at the
mine,
right
yeah.
time. So he was very tickled when he came to the soft opening and he saw his name on the menu because we named it Dunn's Inferno because it ended up being our best seller. So
Yeah. So it's a black raspberry chocolate with ancho chilies in there.
yeah.
Wow.
and the ABV's clocking in at
16%.
Gosh.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Because
know.
8 is low. That's why she said low.
Yeah.
It's only 16%.
Yeah, it's
It's only
definitely.
16.
When I first caught a whiff, definitely can smell the chocolate. Then you get the heat in the back, like it's literally like
Yep.
right here in the back of my throat.
Just a
I
little
almost
tickle.
feel like that's
Yeah.
just from the alcohol content. I mean, it's a 16%.
yeah. I'm not getting heat from alcohol. I'm definitely getting
Yeah, no,
heat
that's
from
the
the
chili.
chili.
Chili's
Everybody's
it out.
I think they're all dancing together in my palate.
I think you're a little red.
That's just
Sure.
Matt's look. He's always
It's a
a little
reflection off the
flush.
solo.
Yeah, okay.
Now, when you guys are making mead, what's your go-to drink that isn't Recolte? Like, obviously you got a PBR in front of you. You're drinking Two Hearted.
I like M43.
M43, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think I've really found my cup of tea yet. I'm still kind of soul searching for my, greatest of all time. I am a huge red wine drinker, so that's kind of what I go to. But in between, I'll definitely have, a light beer. But no, I haven't found the one yet. So I don't know
What about wine? Like, what's your go-to red
Oh,
wine?
Pinot Noirs. Something dry but smooth. Absolutely, I'm a huge Pinot Noir fan. Absolutely. But no, I don't have that thing yet.
Well, it's as long as you like it, that's all that matters.
Oh, absolutely.
What's that saying? If you like it, it's a good
good
beer.
beer.
That's North Center
Yeah.
Brewing over in Northville, Michigan, just south of 8 Mile on North Center Road. Go check out Kevin, Cody, Trick and Magic over there. This mead is actually really, really good, by the way. Like,
Thank you.
as much as I don't like the heat, like the heat isn't overpowering. Like, I think
No.
something's cutting it for sure.
It balances
to where
well with
it
the
doesn't
boldness.
linger. What's that?
It balances well with the boldness of, I don't know if it's a blackberry.
Yeah, it's a black raspberry.
black
So you
raspberry.
get a little bit of sourness from that, which kind of pulls away from the tartness.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah,
I
Thank
think
you.
I feel booze heat, so I don't really catch.
I think I was
Spices.
getting a little bit more from the Bloody Mary near the end because it's just pepper at the bottom now.
Still pretty good though.
Yeah, like I think
yeah.
I think
Still
that was
good.
still getting a little bit
Thank
of that.
you. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no,
Definitely.
I mean, I thought you were honestly pouring me wine when I looked at it. Like, is she pouring me a wine?
Yeah, that's it's really really dark.
Yeah.
When you guys, so you're a big fan of M43. You're more of a wine drinker. So, like, do you guys have like, how did the thing come about? Like, how did you two meet? Obviously, you worked at the same hospital, but how did I make mead? I'm proprietor. Let's.
Long story short, we definitely were friends for a good 8 years prior to that, about 7, 8 years, and she got her hands on the honey and she's like, "Come over, I'm gonna make some alcohol." I'm like, "No, it's sticky. I'm OCD. I don't want to deal with that crap. Like, it's not gonna happen."
She's really OCD.
I'm very OCD, and I know what's going to happen. You're going to be making the alcohol and having fun, and I'm not going to drink, and I'm just going to clean the whole time, and it sucks a lot. Like, sucks.
Well, that's why I called you over.
Yeah, exactly. I knew why she was calling me over, So,
Yin and yang over
but
here.
friends do that kind of shit for friends, and one thing led to another. After finally bottling everything, or putting it in the carboys, allowing it to ferment, and bottling it. Her finally cleaning everything up to the point where I could actually come over and hang out without being claustrophobic and going into the kitchen and carboys everywhere and everything on the counters. It was just very stressful for me, actually.
How long ago was this?
About
Probably about 5 years ago. 5
So
years ago.
where did the induction of Recolte? Because obviously you were making this 5 years ago. Has it been 5 years of planning to get open over in?
No,
GDP
what
or-
happened is a friend of ours approached us one day, and he was saying I'm opening this brewery downtown. I just bought this plot of land. I'm going to build this building, and I want a brewery down there. And I was like, a brewery? I'm like, there's like 10,000 breweries downtown. I was like, why don't you open a meadery? And he's like, meadery? Well, what's that? And I'm like, come over. so
Let me
he was
show you
like,
my
"Oh
wares."
God," Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
with-
he's this French guy, and he's got this like huge French accent. So he was like,
with
"Oh,
the amount of R.I.P. Cellarman's, but with Cellarman's Shrams and Bee Nectar, and the fact that everything gets distroed, and now that there's so many more, like Bloom has come up, like all these other meaderies
yeah.
and stuff. It's
Bloom is
weird
really
for
good.
people. Like I have a friend that literally just found out about meads like 6 months ago, and I mean he was a craft beer drinker. But like he's like, oh, you guys ever heard of this Bee Nectar? And I'm like, they've been open for over a decade now, buddy.
They're international, for God's sakes.
And I think with mead though too, with the explosion of craft beer, it's glutinous,
Probably go that way.
and so many more people are being,
Yeah.
what's the word? Responsible to their gluten, tolerance, lack thereof. So it only makes sense to have an alternative to that, that fringe that everybody else is in.
Yeah, I mean, it's that I definitely did not know of many other meaderies that were around until I started to get into it, and then I totally started, mead hopping. I was really excited about Bloom.
Yeah, we've been to Bloom several times. We love them.
Yeah, so once she started making the mead, which I was already aware of, but really never was too interested in it. Everything that I had was very, very lovely, but at the same time, I never went to a restaurant or a bar and said, "Hey, can I have a glass of mead?" Like that stuff doesn't happen.
Well,
so,
it kind of just, to be honest, it's been almost sitting on shelves in breweries for a long time because Kunin makes mead, Dragon Mead makes mead, Arctos makes mead. Like there's these other places that make mead that people just don't really. They just go there for the beer because I think beer tourism is still a huge thing in Michigan, where people are only going to go for the beer. And I think, to be honest, the price point is a little bit of a shock factor for a lot of people.
It definitely is. It was nice to have some people from Pennsylvania that heard about us last minute, and they were doing a mead tour. And it was, I think, 3 or 4 guys, I can't remember. And one, they just showed up, and I guess people from Dragon Mead told them about us, which I was so thankful for. So thank you, Dragon Mead, for that. That was so kind of them. But they rolled in and sat down and had a good time, and it was really nice to be part of their mead. Mead tour. They were kind of our first from out of state, so it was pretty cool.
They take anything home?
Oh, they did. I was so proud to
We have pictures.
to can for them, and it was an awesome feeling actually.
Yeah, and those type of people that really are in the mead scene and like really appreciate mead will know, like, all right, I'll probably spend like $20 or more on like a 375 ml bottle.
Yeah.
So
They're
'cause-
aware that
'cause
the
of
alcohol
cost, yeah.
content is, higher also. So, 2 drinks would probably be 4 of, maybe a lower, beer or, cocktail or something like that. So
I mean, you guys just play in the wine price point more than the average,
Yeah.
beer consumer. So it's just a
Correct.
completely different kind of thought process going in. You go to a restaurant, you get a glass of wine, you're spending $9-10 instead of a light lager,
Absolutely.
$3.50-$4.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah,
So
of
it
course.
just kind of goes with the lay of the land.
Yeah.
Before we take our first break, you did pour us one more mead, so why don't you talk about it?
I was forced to call this one RJ's because this is one of the ones that I didn't screw up. It's a cucumber melon. It's very light. It's refreshing and pretty excited about it. So, yeah. So
It kind of almost tastes like a seltzer. There's a little kick of alcohol there, but yeah, like I'm just getting almost like a I'm trying to think like a sweet water. Like I got the cucumber for sure. I'm not getting too much of the melon.
I get more of like a honeydew than like a watermelon.
That's kind of where
Yeah.
I was. It was like
That-
I didn't really notice the cucumber until you said cucumber. And then
I think if you had a full
Yeah, and
glass,
that-
you'd be
yeah.
able to
That
pick
is
up on it
honeydew.
for
It's
sure.
not watermelon.
Ah, see, aha!
You are correct, sir.
You get that pale flavor of honeydew. Because when I got this, I saw cucumber melon, and I thought Bed Bath and Beyond 1999. Everyone was wearing that lotion.
Hey, a little hookah, or not a hookah, seashell
But
choker.
I was thankful because I went in assuming it was going to taste one way, and it completely tasted different in a good way. Not, I mean, I was
I thought
expecting.
you were saying that it tasted like bathroom potpourri.
No, I was expecting the cucumber melon to be perfumatic, like
Okay.
like that.
Okay,
Because I
good.
remember that lotion that every girl in like sixth to like 11th grade
Yeah.
wore in the late 90s, early 2000s.
3 for $12. Yeah. Oh my God, it was horrible. The sanitizers and everything was terrible.
Oh man.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break. As always, our breaks are sponsored by the Ferndale Set. Go check them out. This is Brother Son. We'll be right back. Better on Draft Podcast.
I'm headed for the city, trouble in my mind. I'm way too young and pretty for things to be unkind. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I'm headed for the city. See what I can unwind. Always gotta start it to dictate, make it in this life. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 These eyes ain't looking back home. No, I'm now by myself on this road.
And we are back. Better on Draft Podcast 189. Still with us is Recolte Mead. Is it Recolte Meads or Recolte Meadery? Oh, I should probably
Meads.
unmute you guys. There you go. Hey.
There we go.
It's like I'm a professional here.
That's Recolte Meads.
Recolte Meads?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have
And
one.
you poured us, looks like everyone's got one. What do we got here?
This is the Wild Child. It's a mixed berry mead, something lighter and fun.
I could drink this all day.
Oh damn.
Dangerous.
I was gonna say, do I want to know the ABV on this one? Because this is something that I'd probably get like a little too sweet after a while, kind of like how I feel like with root beer, like maybe after a glass or two. But yeah, seems dangerous because I don't
Definitely
taste
dangerous.
alcohol.
6, right?
The Wild Child?
The Wild Child is 6%.
Oh, that's not that dangerous.
No, it's
I was waiting for
No,
you to say
it's-
16.
no. It's
It's 5 or 6, right?
It's
It's definitely
6%.
lighter, yeah.
It's 6% for sure.
This with a dash of ginger.
Yeah, another
We-
mead mixer.
Yeah, our team members actually want to turn that one into mead mixer. And somebody did say something about ginger.
I think it would cut the sweetness a little bit with a little bit of spicy and knock it out.
Absolutely. Yeah,
This isn't the one that they made that lavender drink out of, is it?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that was the rhubarb.
Oh,
Strawberry
the
rhubarb.
rhubarb.
That went quick. That
Yeah.
turned into a mead mixer, the strawberry rhubarb,
Rob?
and sold pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Wild Child?
I want more sweetness.
Really? Okay.
For me,
Put some
it's
more sugar in it?
I want more sugar. I want
Nick?
see. You shouldn't have
I
mentioned
like it.
Kool-Aid in the beginning because it made me think about how I used to make Kool-Aid, and I mean that's
Maybe
probably the reason why my A1C is this high at my age right now.
I was not allowed to add.
Are you saying
Yeah.
you got the sugar?
I got the sugar.
When I was a kid, I was not allowed to add sugar to the Kool-Aid. I got that prepackaged, the just enough. Like, you don't need to add anything except that powder into water.
Yeah.
And this tastes exactly
Yeah, this
like
isn't this isn't me making Kool-Aid. This is basically the Kool-Aid jammers.
This
Which
is
is
going to be like offensive to all the Kool-Aid people. I used to do cherry Kool-Aid, and this was like back in the 90s.
and 5 o'clock vodka.
No. In the 90s, cherry Kool-Aid, no. And Mountain Dew.
Oh, you started
I
Code
started, well, yeah, the make your own Code Red before Code Red became a thing. You
Wasn't it like a limited release the first year and then it came back full time?
It might have
It
been, but
might have.
this is like before Code Red existed. Somebody had told me because we went to like 7-Eleven and being shit teenagers, preteens getting double gulps of Mountain Dew, and then somebody busted out one day the cherry Kool-Aid packet and just mixed it in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever.
Did you mix the Slurpees at 7-Eleven? Did you get like multiple
I
flavors?
usually do
Still
like a
mixes
1-in-1. I love like
One in
adding
one.
pina colada to something. So like pina colada Mountain Dew, pina colada cherry. No,
I
not
don't
not.
like pina colada. It just
Yeah, I don't
reminds me
do
of suntan
coconut.
lotion.
I mean, I don't eat too much suntan lotion to have a frame of reference.
Yeah, I don't
so
either. I think I'm a huge pina colada fan. I think it tastes great.
I don't like the pina colada drink. I just like coconut flavor added to Mountain Dew or cherry. Like I would love a coconut Mountain Dew.
Well, maybe we could do a coconut mead.
Well, we do.
I would be
We do,
down for
yeah.
a coconut mead for
Yeah.
sure.
Just a hint of
Coconut pineapple.
yeah. I don't know. The pineapple,
Hard
might be a little
pass.
acidic. I don't know. I think it would be great.
We'll call it like copper tan or something like that.
Yeah, just put like mango
Banana
too,
boat.
Something.
Banana mango. That would be nice.
The mango.
The mango, coconut mango.
Mango,
The
pineapple,
mango, I think
coconut,
is
all
it.
those little
Yeah,
Hawaiian tropics.
I dig it.
There's a real nice one that Acoustic Meads does. It's a really nice blend of. I think he's got like 6 different flavors in there, and coconut is one of them, and you can taste them all.
Yeah, we're
You know?
huge fans of acoustic mead.
Where's
Uh,
that?
And just
It's
in
up in
Traverse
Traverse
City.
City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really, really neat little place. It's very, very, very tiny, and they have a bunch of fantastic meads, obviously, but just stocked with games and different instruments that you could just come in and pick up and start playing, and just a very comforting atmosphere. I really, really appreciate it, for sure.
Have you guys made any like mead-esque drinks, like a sizer?
Oh yeah. Well, we have our cider right now. It's the Stiff One Eye.
Okay.
And the sizer that we have, it's
Still aging.
still aging, and it's has the raspberry. We have a peach one
And a cherry.
and a cherry one. So we're pretty excited about it. But sometimes they go through funky stages, and I think it's just gonna mellow out just fine. So we're pretty
It's not
excited.
ready.
It's not ready.
The worst part about alcohol is just the waiting.
They're just both.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, part of my friends. They're just both being bitches. Like they're just taking their time.
Yeah.
They are. They're
We
just
don't
taking
have
their time.
We don't have any censors. You can.
I
drop
know
the fuck
it's
bombs
just
you
hard
have to.
for it's hard for me just to say that in general without knowing who I'm saying it to. I guess
The
Being on
world.
yeah. And
I've never heard any other mead maker or brewer or cider ever curse. You're like the first person ever in the entire restaurant industry to curse.
Oh,
See,
God.
I told you.
can't take me anywhere.
Go right back to that Bee Nectar episode. I think that was within the first 30 seconds.
Oh, with Carrie and Miranda. Yeah, because we did have Dana on at World Expo.
Yep.
And yeah, that was she was a little timid until she had a few drinks inside of her.
Probably like 10, 15 minutes in.
Yeah, she said she's ready to finally do an actual episode, so we might have to bring B Nectar back in. But with segment 2, as
Here
always,
is Robert with the beer news.
Sweet music to my ears there, Rob.
RJ just realized the camera's been on her the entire time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Back
Shut
there.
the front door right now.
She just now realized.
Did you see her puff up her hair?
We're on
My
Facebook
God.
Live.
Oh no, I don't care about my hair, but
Yeah, so this camera right here has got U3, and then this camera over there has got U2, and this camera right up here has
Well,
got this
one
one.
and a half.
oh my God, I think I'm gonna.
See,
throw
I'm
up.
allowed to do it to myself. You're not allowed to make fun of me.
I thought I was like
Nope.
being cut off.
No.
No. Just
No, I just
You
realized
should round
that
up to 3/4.
I actually freaked out for a hot second.
Are you feeling a little better now? Have
No,
a
not at
woosah?
all. I actually feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Do you want to
No, no.
play some more mead then?
Here,
while
have,
we
you
get
know,
into it?
have some mead.
Yeah, I'll have some
Yeah,
meat. How about
have some
another
meat.
one?
Yeah, there you
Let's
go.
Yeah, why
bust
not?
open up another one real quick.
Lele. Can you believe this?
Alrighty.
Well, I guess while she's pouring that one, why don't we get a headline in?
All right, we'll go through one real quick. I rented this one today in North Carolina. The State Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission this past Wednesday they denied the appeal of a Utah-based brewery selling its one of its porters in North Carolina called Polygamy Porter, which comes complete with the tagline, "Why just have one?"
I like it.
Polygamy Porter is a smooth, chocolatey, easy drinking brown porter that's more than a little naughty. Take some home to the wives.
Oh hell no.
And so, of course, the board just basically said, polygamy is illegal, therefore these products will not be approved. So, of course, they tried to appeal that decision, but the commission just said absolutely not. You're basically, if you want to sell that beer here, you're going to have to change that name.
So I guess
I don't see this on the document. And it's
It is.
upsetting me.
I said I was going to improv one, and that was
son of a gun.
that was my improv one. The label of this thing, it basically it looks like something that maybe Michelangelo might have thought of painting.
So my first question is like, what possessed these guys to think that this was going to fly?
Well, they are
they're
in Utah.
Oh,
So
I stand corrected.
That's the first thing.
oh gosh, this label. Oh God, horrible. Pass that around.
Is it like Sister Wives?
It's bad.
I mean, it's
We'll pass it around the
statuesque.
corner.
I don't. there's no way
Oh,
to
no.
describe
It's
it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
I don't know. It is beautiful, but it's also wrong on every level.
It's so.
It depicts love between a man, his wife, his other wife, his other wife, and his other wife.
But I mean, we've already gotten to a point with the National Guild that has basically said, don't name your beers like this. Don't put suggestive things on your labels like this.
Don't even try it.
Don't even try it. I mean,
Yeah.
to what they said was, you do stuff like this, your beer's not
Right.
getting put in any contest.
So this brewery is called Wastash, and
Wastash, yep.
it's part of Canarchy.
Oh,
So the people that bring you Oscar Blues, Heron Brewing.
Wow.
Cigar
So
City.
they're not that tiny of a
Shame
group.
on them.
I mean, they might have had it prior to being purchased by Canarchy.
Wow.
But yeah, I decided to look up on Untapped and see if there is any other breweries. There's another brewery in Ogden, Utah that has a polygamy beer called Polygamy Pale Ale. And there is a brewery in, as I'm bringing it up right now, looks like it might have been like a collab because it went straight to Utah, called Squatters. So yeah,
I don't get that one.
yeah. I mean,
Only in Utah, I guess.
fair. All right, so we did get a beer
that's
poured or a mead
awful.
poured for us. Sorry, talking about beer, mead.
This is actually our black raspberry lemonade. It's called My Precious because it is one that we did baby quite a bit. It was one of our first, and we love it. Hope you
Blackberry lemonade.
I mean,
black
Yeah, it's
raspberry.
very
Black
similar
raspberry.
to the.
Yes.
the Duns as well.
Yeah, I'm getting the I think the lemonade's kind of, or the lemon itself is kind of overpowering it. I don't know if I'm.
For me, it's kind of half and half. It's starting with the fruit first, and then it just mellows to like that sourness of the fruit just kind of goes away, and that lemon kicks in. But it's not tart. It's just kind of sweet at the end.
It's sweet. It's got it reminds me of punk lemonade, which I had when we were on the Nerds with Alcohol show, with a little bit more fruit added to it in regards to the black raspberry. But I wasn't a fan of punk lemonade, so
I really like punk lemonade.
Do you?
Yeah.
I just wasn't for me. Was not for me. But I do like the black raspberry. Like I kind of yearning for the Chili's one again. The done.
Oh, look at you down there.
You, man.
Whoa.
I like
me
that
and
one.
sours.
This one for me is all tart.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't get tart on this at all.
I do. That's like I don't.
It's definitely not coming from your other beer.
Yeah, I mean, mead is very unique. It hits everybody's palate so differently. I mean, somebody can describe a very, very sweet mead as very, very tart and vice versa. So it's fun to see a group of people come in and try meads. And out of one, somebody will say, I don't know what you're talking about. It's sour. And clearly
this one is cinnamon.
The thing with this group is that we all are very, very different on the spectrum of beer and what we like. Like we definitely like different styles of beer. Our go-to styles are not the standards. We're not like all, if it's IPA, it's automatically good. If it's barrel aged, it's automatically good. Like each of us are looking for something different in regards to when we go for beer. And I think it's the same way we approach mead, because there are a decent amount. Like I went to, is it Be Well, Be Good?
Yeah, Be Well.
Over in Bel Air.
Yep.
I was at Shorts, the tap room, and I'm like, well, I want another drink and kind of hang out for an hour or two before I head back home. And sure enough, there was that. So we wound up doing, because they have cider up there, they have mead up there. Every single one of their meads was perfect. I loved it. But their ciders were just something that I feel like maybe it was a little too sugary for me. And that's what's hard with ciders, is that if it becomes a little too, not necessarily dry, but like if I can feel like I'm just eating sugar, that just doesn't appeal to me. Whereas other people want that sugar flavor. They want that deliciousness. But again, I don't like, I haven't eaten, bingo, being on keto, I haven't eaten much sugar. So even before that, I didn't eat much sugar. So now that I'm so low, like the first time I actually had like bread and sugar last weekend, like it just hit me so hard. It just felt disgusting because you just don't eat it anymore and it tastes so weird. But I also never had really a sweet tooth. But this, I mean, it's growing on me. Just not a fan, but do you have any more the Chili's in here?
You're allowed to say that it's not your favorite. It's okay.
That's not my favorite.
No.
I'm just asking if you got more of the Chili's one.
Actually, I apologize. I think I finished that off.
That's okay.
But we definitely
bring you
have.
some
I was gonna
We're
say,
gonna have
there's
to go there
if only their meadery was 15 minutes from my place.
Yeah. It might actually be the most equidistant place between you and I.
We do have a cider. It's called the Stiff One Eye.
Okay.
Did you
Is
bring
it a
Ooh La
sweet
La
cider,
lemonade?
dry cider?
We do. It's a dry cider, and we also have the Ooh La La lemonade.
Uh-oh.
That's
Haven't had somebody that excited in a long time. There is also the Giblet. And are we gonna have enough time for all?
We're gonna have enough time
Okay.
for
We'll
everything.
figure it out.
All right, and then we have the Grosse Pointe Park Haze, which is our GPP haze. So we still have 4 more.
Triple cherry.
Wait, what do you mean by haze?
It's
It's not filtered.
It's not filtered. So,
Okay.
So we kind
Relax.
of let that one go rogue. So we're pretty
Hazy.
excited about it. Where it's hazy for sure. Since
I think filtering takes a lot of the flavor out. To me personally, but people like it.
I mean,
nice and clean.
I agree with that sentiment because that's why a lot of people don't want like a lot of their liquors multi-distilled. Like they want it just distilled once, or like the whole triple distilled, was that Smirnoff or something like
Yeah.
that? Like it's a great
It's
mixer,
a
but
gimmick, yeah.
the red.
well, it's the exact same kind of gimmick as Miller Lite, triple the hops. Rob, why don't you go through another quick headline while we're kind of pouring around and passing around?
Yeah, we'll go through another quick. Well, half of one, because one of my favorite things to follow on Instagram is the Worst Beer Blog, and they had a nice little story that kind of popped up on their blog last week, which was going into the fight for self-distribution, as has been one of the big topics that has been really hitting Michigan in the better part of the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So some jackass decided that he was going to post on a certain beer group about a beer that Eastern Market Brewing Company had called Big Boy Pants, and highlight a conversation that the owner of Eastern Market Brewing Company, Dane Barsh, I always pronounce his last name wrong, that he had a conversation with Larry Bell concerning.
It sounds like Larry Bell had a conversation.
Larry
with him.
Bell had he went. Like if you ever hear like the comedy stuff from Eddie Murphy and how Eddie Murphy was talked to about his comedic styles from Bill Cosby, it was basically that. It was just, you need to do this, you need to stay within these rules. These are the rules.
Well, not listening to Bill Cosby is probably a good decision by Eddie Murphy.
It truly was.
Too soon?
Never.
No.
Never.
You did good.
Oh boy.
But basically, it has kind of gotten a little bit of a national headline now, because everybody who follows that, he's probably got something like 16,000 followers that have been seeing that, and seeing that, Michigan's laws as far as self-distribution are a little low.
Well, Matt was kind of doing a little
Yeah.
crowdsourcing votes on some local groups in regards to the distribution rules for Michigan.
Yeah, I just simply put it to DACB and MACB, I suppose you would put it. Both the Michigan craft beer enthusiasts and Detroit craft beer enthusiasts, and it seemed it was like pretty one-sided. So I just simply wrote, want to gauge people's thoughts. Currently, after 1,000 barrels produced, a brewery must hire a distributor to move their product outside their tap room. The questions were options: increase limit over 1,000, leave the limit at 1,000, no opinion, and then people were for some reason adding things.
Right.
Increase limit was 166 to 11 on Michigan craft beer enthusiasts, and I'm trying to find the Detroit craft beer enthusiasts, but it was just as lopsided, if not more so. So it seems I don't really think that many people even know that we have this, and they don't. I guess they don't get why. And
Well,
you can say whatever reasons. People were just asking, why do we even have this? And my thought is it's tax purposes and such. But I think it's one of the things that were established years ago when it was thought that we needed it, but it's since kind of outgrown what its usefulness is.
Look at in regards to the mead industry as we do with the beer industry. Like the mead industry has, for reference, exploded in comparison to what there was. Mm-hmm. There are a lot more meaderies and meaderies only, not just a brewery that makes mead. Because I think that's also a huge difference too. Because a lot of breweries that made mead, we kind of talked about it earlier. Kunin, Drag Mead, nobody really cared too much about it unless you went there for the mead. Mm-hmm. Whereas now we have mead makers like Bee Nectar, like Cellarman's was they made cider and mead as their two main things. They also made beer. Recolte, Bloom, Arcos, all these other meaderies are exploding. I think that's kind of where the trend is going, because I think a lot of people are looking for alternatives to beer now, because I think they were deciding where they wanted to spend their beer money, but I think now they're trying to figure out where they wanted to spend their alcohol money. Mm-hmm. And we see that with the huge influx of the hard seltzers. And it's a trend that a lot of people are following. Mind you, it's been almost probably a year since Clear Coast came out, maybe earlier this year, as well as we have Atwater that just came out with their own hard seltzer. Mm-hmm. You've had it?
I had it. Yeah, I picked it up Wednesday.
Are they selling like mix packs, or do you got?
Yeah, they're all mixes.
Okay.
They're all 12s. They cherry, mango, and lime.
Okay.
It's not terrible. It's different than the other seltzers, which are seltzer first, flavor finished. These are more flavor first seltzers. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
Rob, why are you shaking your head?
Matt Bush seltzer analysis.
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down. But like, if you think about it, so I drink carbonated water, just standard. So having
You're
it with
LaCroix.
alcohol, Huh?
LaCroix?
No, I get the Kroger brand because I'm not going to spend an extra $2 for a 12-pack of randomness. I don't need something French and have to pay $2 extra for it.
Isn't it made in Detroit?
LaCroix?
I don't know, is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Where's the LaCroix plant? Is that next to Verner's or Fago?
I mean, it is fair. Detroit is a French city.
Detroit has a French name, yeah. Detroit, so
Okay. Beyond Nick being Nick.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Hey, don't get short with me.
Oh. There it is.
LaCroix is made in La Crosse, Wisconsin. It looks like at the huge the brewery, that contract brewery that they have over there, the G. Hellman.
Gotcha. But there's more flavor in the Atwater seltzers than you're going to get in a White Claw or a Trulia. White Claw and Trulia mask the harshness of the alcohol mash with flavors, and the flavors are just more present in the Atwaters. So depending on, what floats your boat.
Well, you guys said you made a seltzer over there.
Yes.
What's it clocking in at?
That one's at 5%.
What kind of flavor is it?
We can
Anything
make
on
any of
tap.
them, yeah.
basically anything anybody wants on tap, whether it's a cans, because we do have cans to go. We can right there in house. And
This
if you
is
want
two ounces of like our mead and the rest is seltzer water, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
so-
you're actually making the mead into seltzer. I mean, that's definitely
Yeah, it's
sells
just anything
me
on
because
tap.
that's the
The hot chili.
I
chili seltzer
tell you
for you?
what, I would
can.
do
It's
the
actually- yeah,
hot.
it's
chi-
actually
I would
really
do the hot
refreshing.
chili seltzer.
So do you guys just like pump a bunch of CO2 into it to make it seltzer then?
Yeah, we have like a keg with CO2 and we'll
Yeah,
just-
we also have, just in case, if we run out or whatever the situation
water
might be,
in.
we do have our own seltzer water that is bottled. Just depending, it's, some people really like it really, really cold, so we might even add some ice to it. It's very refreshing. It's a nice, affordable drink, and it's alcoholic, so it works. Anything on tap, we could turn into a buzzer. So
Well, that's for me because it cuts the sugar, especially the sugar, the honey, and that just piqued my interest a lot because now I'm thinking of all the things that I would want to make into a seltzer.
Yeah, you can.
yeah, we also are.
It's all
our
the
mead
rage.
mixers. Our mead mixers are kind of the same thing. There are people that come in, they say, I don't want anything too sweet, so we, we'll give them a GPP haze or our cider. But then we also say, hey, we have these awesome mead mixers that are not sweet, and we throw that at them or our buzzers, and they love them.
And this that you just poured for us,
It's actually our Ooh La La lemonade.
ooh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just another light one, and it's our strawberry lemonade. He seems to be very.
I love it.
I like
Yeah,
it.
why don't you give him some more? Because it's like a kid in a candy shop.
I
right now.
I could drink these all day.
Yeah,
That's just Matt a lot of times with alcohol.
yeah. So
Give
it's
him
our,
PBR. He's a kid
yeah.
in a candy shop.
it's a strawberry lemonade. It's very refreshing.
This
and-
would be great, carbonated up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
This would be probably.
Yeah, it's lightly carbonated right now. I'm still learning forced carbonation.
No worries. Nobody's
I
complaining.
YouTube a lot.
So what's life like in Grosse Pointe Park? Why did you pick that area? Why not? You're from Warren. Why not?
the opportunity just came up. That's all. Opportunity came up. We
Great demographic.
great demographics. We definitely did, a year and a half of business planning, and we looked up the demographics in Grosse Pointe Park after it was introduced to us, that the possibility of an available space, because we were going to initially start off with distribution, and the business plan totally changed. That's why we spent a good year and a half on it. One of the biggest failures that we read up on was people don't make a business plan. So we were very, very big on that. And also, the more and more we read with statistics proving that, the millennials nowadays, everybody has a sweet tooth. It's just a huge thing. People want sweet beers, fruity beers, sweet
Yeah,
mead,
fruity,
fruity meads. So we definitely were
We know
excited
that you're
about
the
it.
comic guy. We get you. You're the other side.
It's a thing, and it's trending, and we definitely have that feedback and the foot traffic and just the city just being welcoming in general. The opportunity came up with the space, so we put distribution on the back burner, and we went ahead to renovating the tasting room, and here we are.
Do you plan to distro in cans and bottles or in kegs?
Bottles mostly.
Bottles
So
mostly,
single
kegs.
750s?
Nope.
355s?
375.
Sorry, I'm not good at math.
375s, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay. 375. I mean, kegs are definitely something that's there. We're very proud to say that our bottles are at 8 Degrees Plato, and I was really thankful that he took a chance with us. A very, very awesome owner, and I'm guilty of not knowing his name, but he was very welcoming and supportive of us having our.
Don't worry, I will be bringing his name up
Yeah,
shortly.
I mean, the whole team there was just so. They saw how nervous we were. It was our first tasting, and oh my God, we were fumbling over our
Idiots. We were idiots.
absolute idiots. Our keg and our
Jockey box.
was leaking everywhere. We're like, "Do you have any plumber's tape?" And
I
they're
don't have
like,
any
"No,
Teflon tape,
we're
but
8 Degrees Plato. We're not a plumbing store. You know, like
they're
get
like,
out of
we
here."
have electrical tape. I'm like, thanks, I'll make that work.
So they were so supportive, and we're very, very happy to say also that Lost River actually is obsessed with our Ride the Wave mead.
We have a
And
collaboration with them right
we have a collaboration with them, and they actually turn our mead into these fantastic, awesome, tiki bar cocktails.
Nice.
So that has been a hit, and it's so cool to see our name on their menus because they are just an amazing establishment
What's
and
it called?
team.
Wave Runner?
It's called Wave Runner, so it's pretty
like
cool.
frozen lemonade and then our meads on top.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a black currant.
I was gonna say that's only like a block or two from you guys, isn't it?
it
Oh
is,
yeah, we're huge
Yeah.
fans of them. They're just very
Lost River's
awesome.
on Mac.
We love Ariel.
They're on Kirchable.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, but that's
three
a,
blocks.
like,
they're on Mac, just down from
Yeah,
down.
it's
but
just
aren't
on
they
from
like
three
Kirchable.
blocks.
Grosse Point proper though?
No, they're Detroit.
No, they're
They're
Detroit.
right across. Yeah, they're right.
I
on
mean,
the
you could
border
throw a
of
rock
Detroit.
back and forth, and you could
I
call
just-
it Grosse
maybe my
Point or
directions are
Detroit.
completely askew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They're in the Morningside
Yep.
subdivision.
Yeah, they're like Neff and Mac, and these guys are at like Alter and Kirchville.
Yeah, it's
Not all.
They're at
we're
Beaconsfield,
Kirchable and
Mac.
Beaconsfield.
It's 3 blocks away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
3 blocks.
sorry. Depends on where you're from. Like I grew up in Troy. A block is a mile where I come from.
All right. Well, that's getting poured. I'll go into the next one.
Yeah, why don't you talk to
And-
us about Tim showing his stuff?
Yeah, and by the way, when that last piece, when I was mentioning a jackass posting on Facebook,
It was not me.
That jackass was me. So
Yeah, somebody
You're
took
the
a
blame.
snapshot of
So-
Rob posting in a group.
yeah, and that basically became front page.
And I want to know.
Did you get
who-
any messages, by the way? I was curious if anybody,
the only thing I
because you have a
got,
very unique name.
the only thing I got was in the morning a tag from Matt saying, "Hey, look."
We have a leaker in Bruise Brothers.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh,
We should be able to identify that person.
we don't need to identify. Stop trying to be."
I'm
fucking
Columbo.
Anderson Cooper.
I'm Columbo.
This is not the mole. The mole was done. The show's done. It only 4 seasons. That's it. We don't care
4 seasons.
about who
I think-
shared it. It wasn't me.
Bruise Brothers is a private group.
Yeah, and
secret group.
there's quite a few different private groups, and somebody shared it. I don't care. It wasn't. I just know it wasn't me. So, it wasn't me.
All right, Shaggy.
All right.
It wasn't me.
Trouble. All right.
I'm sorry.
You led me to it.
Yeah. I know.
All right. So the other time that Michigan showed up in Worst Beer Blog referred to the My Brew magazine that came out recently.
Oh, yeah.
And in the magazine, it had an article titled "The Art of Portrait Photography," which featured some nakedness. We'll just say at the bar.
Very, very unsanitary.
A keg blocking a cock.
Oh no!
that's
no.
the Tim
That's
photo.
the Tim photo.
Oh, is
this
that it?
this is, if you haven't seen it, this is from the article. You may have to zoom in a little bit, but there, there's the 2 pictures there. There's a naked woman who is laying across beer taps, and then a woman who is in a brew house going up a set of stairs, clearly naked.
Looks like Jessica.
So
makes sense.
there was a lot of backlash that came out
I don't get.
And
any of
You could
that.
send it back. We've all seen it.
in
Of course.
response. Tim Costello, the owner of 8 Degrees Plato, was not a fan of the article, and he wrote the following: "Just got a copy of your latest quarterly magazine. We're a little disappointed. Sex sells. We get that. We understand that, and whether we like it or not, it's here and it ain't going anywhere. Your job is not to sell, but to promote, advocate, lead, guide, and ensure that Michigan Brewers Guild breweries are always the examples that other breweries look up to. You represent thousands of people in the industry who not only brew beer, but do all the support work from cleaning the beer lines to serving it at a bar or restaurant. In essence, more that just the breweries, pretty much everyone in between. The photo spread you ran in the issue was misguided, out of touch, and not well thought out. It offended a lot of smart, hardworking people in the industry that you are supposed to be advocating for, and it clearly does not represent an accurate portrayal of the brewing industry itself. And in his attempt to level, he posted his rebuttal photo, which, as you were mentioning, is him naked in the back with a keg in his hand, and encouraged anyone else in the industry who felt the same to post a similar photo on their Facebook page and to tag the Michigan Brewers Guild, which not that far down the street, Eastern Market Brewing Company did the same thing. I think they actually took their picture down, but it was Will and Alex, the brewers, Dane, the owner, and Gabe, one of the bartenders, and all of them basically in the chill room, like just buck naked. Wow.
Yeah.
Which they got, let's just say they've got some new customers that are showing up.
Yeah. Well, Julie and I definitely don't look like that. These beautiful women, you know, in the brew house as the ones in the magazine.
Pose naked.
I mean, I look like a hippo trying to move a keg with its nose. It does not happen. No, you do not look like that. It's not as beautiful and sexy.
I don't understand the outrage. I'll just be flat honest. It wasn't. I don't think it was meant to, like, sell anybody on anything. I think it was just an attempt at photography with a brewery as the backdrop. It's nothing different than an artistic nude with. I mean, didn't show anything. I feel like the outrage is misguided and quasi slut shaming. I think it's in its attempt to be outrageous. I think it's misogynistic, in fact. Because how dare you girls get naked and do something? I mean, these girls
that we as men didn't control. Is that where you're going?
Well, I mean, if you look at the women, they're all tattooed up very artistically, and they're showing off their tattoos in these photos. So it's not like it was just some spur of the moment. Hey, grab a Labatt, put it between your chest, get your nipples hard, and let's try to sell some beer. It was supposed to be a.
Ken almost spilled his beer.
I'm marking that and making sure that, like, get your nipples hard and sell some beer.
Is that going to be a soundboard?
That's going to be Matt. Whenever I introduce yourself, and here is Matt. Get your nipples hard and sell some beer.
But I guess the women are clearly models. They're clearly inked models for a reason. They were modeling using a brewery as a backdrop. I don't see anything wrong with any of that. It's not like the Brewers Guild was saying, hey, go to Keweenaw. Look at this trim you're going to get up there in the UP if you go.
I think it's the wrong magazine to put it in.
And that's where I think where Tim is going, and that's where I'm with Tim on that. Is that
the MI Brew magazine is almost like a quarterly magazine for allied members, Brewers Guild. This isn't a publication for like the public to take in. This isn't a Metro Times. This isn't a the Rex Halfpenny Michigan Beer Guide. Like, this isn't something that you're going to pick up at Clubhouse BFD, or, you know, it's not going to be, you know, over on the shelves over at Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 on Rochester
Well
Road.
done there, Ken. Hey.
Like, you're not. This is for the industry people to learn, you know, not to learn, but to get up-to-date information on the industry, maybe up-to-date hop farms, up-to-date yeast, anything like that. It's not meant to have those types of articles.
Now, real quick, and
if it was Rex Halfpennies, I think you have an argument. But for the business magazine, this would be like if I sent out a quarterly review to all my financial investors with half-naked women in a brewery.
No, I mean, if you did, I guess if it was a financial magazine, you did it on Wall Street, right? A naked woman on the top of the bull, you know, in the middle on the Wall Street. That would be. I guess I get it. I hearing where you guys are coming from, I understand. I think this is a silly battle to have because I think I talked to. I hope he doesn't mind Dan Riley. I asked, hey, I don't get the fuss. I think people are mad at the Brewers Guild as a whole, and this is just maybe another straw on the camel. This isn't, hey, we're upset that you're showing this. It's, why are you doing this and not advocating for us over here? Why are you carrying Larry Bell's water over on this side and then blinding us with boobs over here? Like, it sounds more like it's not against the girls or anything that was done. It's against the medium that put it out there because they don't feel the medium who put it out there.
Why wasn't something more realistic portrayed in the magazine rather than something?
No, I just think people
maybe?
are mad at the Brewers Guild for a plethora of reasons. Plethora. Many reasons. Multiple
I know
reasons.
you got the right
Abundance
words.
Of reasons.
Yeah, you got the right word. I mean, yeah, there are a few.
I think
There's quite a few.
out of the
Yes.
million reasons, this is reason maybe 1,000,001. And out of the top 100 important reasons, this is maybe the least important of the reasons, I think.
Well, real quick, I want to throw out My Brew's response because they have since taken the magazine down. And their response, which they posted on the 9th, said the Michigan Brewers Guild Board have been made aware that My Brew had an article with content that is entirely contrary to our mission of inclusiveness, and we are disappointed that it made it to print. The board seeks not only to act in an inclusive manner, but truly believes in and fights for inclusion. We therefore convened a board meeting and voted unanimously
Plethora.
the plethora of us voted to terminate the magazine. We realize this will disappoint some, but we cannot have a publication that does not reflect the purpose and views of the board and our industry as a whole. We will continue to evaluate our internal and external procedures to ensure they reflect the same high standards that we hold for ourselves while delivering high value and content to all of our members. And right at the end, they had an edit that said the post was modified to not assign blame to any specific party, which I don't know where it was going the first time. But we are continuing to investigate how this happened, but certainly do not want to point fingers without accepting responsibility ourselves.
What do you mean? We're trying to figure out how this happened? You guys are clearly the ones that published it.
We're going to take a quick break.
I'll leave it at that. That's all.
We'll be right back. Better on Draft Podcast.
Mama, please don't make me go. Yeah, I don't wanna go so far from home. Yale's got me riding that wave. I got my money where my mind is, and I like it that way. Ha! You pick me up when I'm down. I sniff you up. It takes me all around. You pick me up when my feelings are down. I sniff you up. It takes me all around. Yeah. I know that you're feeling this way, but please
And we are back, Better on Draft Podcast 189. We do have a mead in front of us. RJ, why don't you tell us about it?
It's called our giblet, and it's our cucumber and basil giblet. This one is filtered. It has a very lovely golden color and very refreshing.
Yeah, I already destroyed my shot glass before.
Yeah, you were the kid in the candy shop.
It was really, really good.
No, I drank it as well. I
know when you
right
came
down.
in, you said you liked it, but it wasn't your favorite, I think.
Yeah, I don't like herbs. You know, that's not my, like, gruits, you know, kind of herbaceous beverages are not exactly my cup of tea, I guess is a poor way to put it. But
I think more people need to make gruits.
with hops. Yeah.
No, then that's not a gruit.
It's a good liquid. It's just I don't like any sort of herbs in my
The basil.
liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
That's
just
okay.
throws me
You're allowed to. It's okay.
We still like you. It's okay.
off. Oh well, hey,
So-
I won this time.
Matt, earlier you were talking about your neighbor.
Yes. Oh, we want to. Okay.
This is 5 questions about your neighbor.
So when you think of suburban carnies, that's what I have next door.
Like when you say suburban carny, all I could think of is a juggalo.
you know them. You actually know them, Nick.
I do.
Yeah, you know them. Apparently, they're a mutual friend.
Oh,
the Harperwoods folks.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, gosh.
Would you also describe them as urban carnies? Suburban
Should I
carnies?
leave the room?
Do you like them?
Well, I went to high school with their daughters.
Which one of them?
Well, there's 5 of them.
Yeah. Do
my.
you like them?
Yeah,
Oh.
they're like I grew up with them.
They're terrible people.
Terrible
Oh my
neighbors.
God.
Sure. Well, what they do is they like to leave their dog outside that barks at everything.
You need to see my dog back at home because he barks at everything.
But they say, all right, you want to bark, go outside. And it's literally right next to my house. So this dog from 6 o'clock in the morning to sometimes midnight is just outside barking at anything that moves
Oh, the poor
within
dog.
like a half-block radius of my house.
The dog needs to go to dog sit.
And you said
Some
you've
training.
called the cops on them, right?
So they were
You called the cops on him?
Well, I mean, that's a noise violation after 10 or whatever.
well, actually
10 or 11, yeah.
anytime it's unruly, it's technically a violation. But they really
My dog's unruly. Though.
spruced up the neighborhood over the last month or so by parking a fifth wheel in the middle of the street
Okay.
and then parking it in their driveway. And someone's living out of a fifth wheel in their driveway. And they're
I don't
I
think
think
that's
that's a
legal.
violation right there.
That's-
they're
that's definitely a
running water and
violation.
gas to it.
I think
Last
they're
year-
only allowed 2 days to keep it on.
Last year, they actually had somebody sleeping in a tent in their backyard as well.
Wow.
Awesome.
So
It is what
I
it
don't know what to do to stop them from just being obnoxious individuals.
When I was in high school, I lived in my camper for over a month.
Well, that's what's going on in my front yard. And
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Is the dog okay?
No, the dog, well, define okay.
I mean, is he?
It looks healthy.
Oh, then he's okay.
However, it's
But your
Barking.
sanity is definitely
if
okay.
there's somebody
Losing his shit.
walking
Yeah, you're
down the
definitely losing your
street,
shit.
he sees it and attacks the gate. Now it's a golden retriever, so nobody's ever going to think it's
They're
going to hurt
supposed
anything.
to be nice.
But it literally barks
Well,
like
when you
it's
have
about to
shit
get murdered.
parents, you know, you're gonna act like a crazy.
So I
animal.
don't like. I thought about like padlocking the gate open so they can't just let the dog out because it would go run free or whatever. But I don't know what to do to stop these terrible, terrible people. Like, how do I?
Write him out. Just write him a note, or have you talked to them about it? Like just one on one. Like, hey, neighbor.
I have, yes.
Like
And
Mr. Rogers type of shit. Like, just,
I have, and they say, okay, we'll do something, and they don't do anything. Another great thing about them is they have floodlights on their side door, and that side door is directly shining into my bedroom.
to the
And
dog.
the floodlight would go off at random hours through the night and literally shine a spotlight into my room. When I'm enjoying a nice slumber, my house lights up like it's Christmas. So
They might have
So-
a break
Curtains for
accidentally.
that, you know.
So I have some ideas for you.
I'd love ideas.
But first, what is that we just got poured?
Paul, would you get something board?
Well, actually, I was waiting for your glass to come
oh,
over.
oh.
This is
Say
the
no more.
Grosse Pointe Park Haze, so GPP Haze.
Oh, this shit's good.
This is
Julie?
our triple cherry. So it's got tart cherries, sweet cherries, and Balaton cherries.
Short arms, have a hard time reaching.
Short arms, big heart.
If the table was a little bit smaller.
So,
That's the nicest thing I'll
Yeah,
ever
you
see.
live in an apartment, so you deal with, you share what 4 different walls with people. What's
well, technically
3.
only one.
well, above you, below you?
Well, yeah, above, below.
And to the
yeah,
to the left.
I've had a dog that lived under me for years, and it would just bark because the window is top to bottom on the wall, so the dog can see everything outside. So anytime a car is driving by, which is all the time,
In Detroit,
yep, it starts barking. But I also had I called the security because there was definitely a fight between a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, I hear that all the time, too.
Across the street or across the hallway, and I heard the full conversation. That's how loud it was. And I believe the conversation ended with, "You're getting on my last nerve," and the guy responds, "Fuck your nerves," and slams the door. And they were all lovey-dovey that night, according to security. So this is the GPP Haze. What is it again? I'm sorry.
It's a triple cherry.
Triple cherry. Okay,
Yes.
I like it.
So 3 different cherries,
Yes.
or just
Yep.
3 times the regular amount of cherries?
3 different cherries.
3 different cherries: the Balton cherries, the
tart and
tart,
sweet.
and sweet.
So I looked up some music for you.
Well, so what I did today, like I said, is I found a playlist. I just typed Google "how to annoy your neighbor," or get back at annoying neighbors.
See, you did that. You know what I searched? Guantanamo Bay torture songs.
Don't you think
So
that
I mean, this playlist has like, what does the fox say?
Oh,
Dick kicker.
Are you ready? Because I'm
sigh.
gonna
Go
give you,
for
I'm gonna
it.
give you some great ones. First of all, you may have to download it. I don't know if it's on Spotify, but the Meow Mix theme. Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
The Barney theme, I Love You. Saturday Night Fever by the Bee Gees. The Real Slim Shady by Eminem. America by Neil Diamond.
I don't know that one.
And Dirty by Christina Aguilera.
That's a
What if they started digging that? I don't know. What if that's sort of like their top 10 favorite?
like half the songs on there.
What about the Lamb
Well,
Chops
I-
play along song?
Yeah, that. Well, I
The
guess I
song
wanted
that
to-
never ends.
I kind of want it
Teletubbies.
to be a little bit profane because their family keeps gathering right there in the carport. So I want something where it's just the F word constantly.
The Real Slim Shady would probably be a very, very good one.
I tried to find a X-rated comedy station on YouTube where it would just be like Anthony Jeselnik and like the most offensive.
What's Andrew Dice Clay?
Yeah, like
No, you got to go way further back than that.
Eddie Murphy Raw?
No.
my thing is they're old.
I
so
mean,
they might
Andrew Dice
appreciate if I
Clay's
go
the
too far
80s.
back.
You got to go back.
Richard Pryor?
Carlin.
You, Red Fox,
Oh, God.
LaWanda Page, Rudy Ray Moore.
Okay.
Ooh,
So-
Rudy
There's
Ray
your
Moore.
3.
Let's go to the what are some songs that just annoy you or have annoyed you in your lifetime that maybe they're earworms, maybe there's something that
By the way, that speaker's been blasting for about 5 hours now.
It's still going.
The same 16 songs for the last 5 hours.
For me, what puts me in a really big rage is techno music. So I think techno music could really push somebody
Just Sandstorm
over.
over and over and over.
I mean, yeah.
nothing's wrong with Sam Storm.
But then again, it could throw them into a huge rage. So please.
Get out the glow sticks
Yeah.
and party.
I think techno music.
I mean, considering today you could drop some Rebecca Black.
I wanted to drop like DMX.
No,
Just
they
like
might.
the same song that says the F word in it like 50 times.
you know, you got to do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by DMX.
But they might. They might really.
But
get
yeah,
that.
but I guess
Yeah, but after the 50th time, I don't know if you're going to dig it.
Yeah, well, have you thought about maybe just going out there and hanging out with them every time they're out there, so they're probably annoyed by you, so they don't go outside as
no,
much?
I don't ever want to talk to these people ever again.
It might. It might
No,
work
these
out
are
though.
these are literally the worst people you
I
can have
mean,
in that
you want to try some like
I've met some really bad people.
Are they owning or renting?
No, they're renting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Who's
yeah.
who's their landlord?
I don't know. I've asked them multiple
What's?
times.
May I ask what city this is?
St. Clair Shores. I'm right across
Oh,
right across 8 Mile from you guys.
Neighbors.
If you go on the St. Clair Shores City webpage, it tells you who the owner is.
Oh, I can pull up the PRD.
Maybe
to
just
know
write
real
him a
estate stuff.
maybe just write him a
you're real
letter.
estate guy.
No, I want to burn the house down.
Okay.
I mean, you could try some hardcore metal.
What is this? Talking Heads.
I really think the techno music can really go a long way, especially in St. Clair Shores.
Play anything by Billie Eilish.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I just learned what a Billie Eilish was
Yeah.
like a week
don't
ago.
Yeah, that dude just play that on like repeat.
Just like mix and match like Billie Eilish and Lana Del Rey.
Not Ellis.
Go
That's
back
my
to
girl.
back. I mean, you could drop some hardcore metal and do
What?
a little, do some Meshuggah.
Billy
or
is
There was a Slipknot song on that playlist.
Well, we love Slipknot, though. We don't want to use him as a
No,
hate
no,
thing.
Yeah,
Corey Taylor, if I can meet anybody, would be Corey Taylor, James Hetfield. Absolutely.
That's the thing. Is that leave
Oh my God.
Slipknot out of it because they might actually like them. I'd say
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
some
They're
Cannibal
Oh.
Corpse.
Some Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse and some Meshuggah and just like throw them both together, mix in a little bit of Pantera and maybe some Dream Theater.
When I
think you'll be
left
all right.
today,
I don't know about progressive rock though.
when I left today, they
But that's
were
just when like all of a sudden it gets settled. Like, oh, okay, no, we're okay. And all of a sudden,
It'd be like the song before they go to bed.
Right.
When you
And all
play
of a sudden,
some
here comes Vulgar Display
some
of Power.
if I could just
some
play
Panic Attack.
Rammstein on repeat, that could do it. But when I left today, he was karaokeing Queen. Just killed a
God.
man, put a gun to his head, whatever that song is.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
He was singing that himself, off key as you possibly could be, just to himself in the
I
carport.
know these people.
so you know what song you have to play then. Now that we have a bassist, Queen.
Radio Gaga.
No, I wasn't gonna say play a Queen song. I was thinking as I'm looking through considered the worst songs ever based on a bunch of lists. 1997 Aqua's Barbie Girl.
Oh.
Come on.
How about that
Let's
I'm
go,
Blue?
Yeah, Eiffel
something that
65.
I'm-
Eiffel 64.
Is that
That's
what it
techno.
is?
So I
I'm
understand
telling
why
you.
you don't like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I guess I just want to bother them. I don't want to bother all my entire neighborhood.
You
Maybe
just
a
wanna
little,
piss
maybe
them
a
off.
little
You don't wanna piss
D4L,
off
Laffy Taffy.
I need
That's a
something that
hilarious
has
song,
the
though.
F word in it.
There's
most
something
time.
about making an omelet and cracking.
Oh,
egg.
I'm
You
not
gotta-
going
you
to
gotta-
egg my neighbor's house.
hold on. There's a song that involves so many F words that one of the lyrics talks about how many F words they sang. Hold on. Don't. It's Hot Dog by Limp Bizkit.
Really? Okay.
There you go.
Got it. I
Hold
did
on,
play
I got to get the lyric because I want to say like what that lyric is, because it goes. Hold on, I have to look it up. This is like bad radio, like Joe Rogan does when people are looking stuff up.
Hey, there's so much.
There's a song by Blink 182 that just says the 7 words you can't say on radio,
Yeah.
just over and
Yeah.
over again in rhythmic tune.
So it goes. If I say fuck 2 more times, that's 46 fucks in this fucked up rhyme. That is one of the lyrics
Oh, yeah.
of great new metal artist Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yeah.
Is this? Are we finishing
Actually,
the
that's your last GPP haze, and then the stiff one after.
the stiff one? So we still got one more.
One more, yeah.
The stiff one, yeah. So yeah, if you want that, I mean, you've got. I can't remember the name of that Blink 182 song, but I remember it was on their live album. I think wasn't
Was
it?
it the blowjob song?
No, that was a different song.
What?
There's a
Hell.
there's a song simply called the blowjob song.
Yeah, Blink 182 was very very different in
It's a great time. In the
early
late
2000.
90s.
Yeah, that was a weird time to say the least in regards to.
So I'll get home and it'll have been playing for, depending on how long my Bluetooth speaker plays. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
considering he likes Queen, he probably hates Tom Jones. So I mean, you could do what's Pussycat.
what's John Mulaney? What's New Pussycat? Just play What's New Pussycat over and over again.
Yeah, I might.
So as much as we've offended you with liking Billy or not liking Billie Eilish, like do you have an earworm? A song?
Sorry, I just
Maybe you can try
I
to
can't
offend
get
us.
on that. I'm
See,
like,
and that's all you guys. I'm
Little tear
completely
king.
It's like-
indifferent because that's what my daughters
it's like
listen to, and
what?
I'm just
She likes
like,
Billie Eilish.
Oh, Rosalie, she
Does
loves.
she?
Billie
What is a
Eilish.
Billie Eilish?
So she's what? She's what? 17 years
She's,
old.
no, she's 14.
Billie. No.
Oh, no,
Billie
yeah,
Eilish
yeah.
is 17.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
Ro-
She's from New Zealand or
No,
Tanzania?
no, she's from here. Not from Michigan, but the states.
I'm saying,
No, she's from Oceania.
I actually have no clue. She's her favorite.
Wikipedia.
I have no issues with her.
Hold on.
Not yet.
I like her.
It's like you know, Future does mumble rap, right?
No, I don't. I don't listen to that either.
All right. Well, we'll talk later.
Billie Eilish is from Highland Park, Los Angeles.
Oh,
There you go.
I don't know what that
So-
means either.
The Highland Park section of Los Angeles.
You know, it's ironic that the Highland Park of every other state is really nice.
Except for
Ours,
here.
not so much. It's the
Well,
one
it's-
place when I
it's-
get a
it's-
lead, I do not go.
It's when you think Highland Park, and then you see it on the liquor store over at like Zatuna Liquor, and you see Highland Park, and you're like, oh.
Yeah,
And then you look at the price, and you're like, well, that doesn't match up to our Highland Park.
yeah, no. That's when I get real estate leads. I just pass. I'm not going to Highland Park.
Lord. Nothing wrong with Highland Park.
All
There's a few
right.
things wrong with Highland Park.
There's not much to do in Highland Park.
No.
Drive through it.
Try.
Quickly.
Don't stop.
Don't be in a middle lane.
You see a red light, you blow through it. No, don't do
Yeah, no, do that. Keep doing
You
it.
do that in Detroit, that's for
that.
sure.
You do that in Detroit.
Yeah, anywhere inside one.
Some other songs in here to potentially upset some people within the room. Obviously, Friday by Rebecca Black is on here. Miracles by ICP.
Oh, I could just blast Juggalo music. Whoop, whoop.
Baby by Justin Bieber.
Baby,
Yeah.
baby.
What
You
if
don't
I
have to
just
sing every song,
What if I
Nicholas.
just
You're right.
play
I
like Jim Jeffries' really bad comedy?
I mean, that's a way to go. Rockstar by Nickelback is on here. The Black Eyed Peas
That's
is
actually a good song.
My Humps.
Oh,
Why does everybody hate on Nickelback?
Because they're
Because
Canadian.
every song sounds exactly the same.
Right.
Okay, let me.
Every
Because
song.
they're the type of group that goes on stage and say, "Hey, this is our new song. This is the first song off our new album." They start playing it. It's like that sounds like the first song off the old album.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you've got a gun. You have one bullet.
'Kay.
And there's Nickelback as a person, not all five of them, and Guy Fieri, who apparently gets shit on more than everybody else too. Like,
Hey, at least one motherfucker can take me to Flavortown.
Nickelback.
Dude can cook.
Yeah.
I'm all right with it.
Are you sure he can
Yeah.
cook, or he just goes to places to eat?
At
He won
least
that
it-
contest.
at least it's-
you want a personality contest.
Whatever it is, at least it's edible. I mean, Nickelback ain't gonna make me shit, but bad music.
Well, Guy Fieri's going to kill you with heart disease.
Can you really say he has a good personality based on his music?
No, I said
Nickelback.
Guy Fieri won a personality contest.
Oh, I thought you were
I
talking
don't
about
know any-
Nickelback.
Well, no,
It's like,
he married Avril Lavigne, so they're off in Canadian music hell somewhere wearing denim tuxedos.
I mean,
Wow.
he was a skater boy.
I know it wasn't all that
Said,
complicated.
"See you later, boy."
Jesus.
Ew.
All right, we'll stop.
So let's I was in Seattle this week. Got to go see OAR. I didn't go to
purpose?
Seattle to see OAR. No, I was working that night. They were just performing at the place I was working at.
That's pretty cool.
So I was talking to one of the employees of the Thomas More Theater, and I was talking about Aquavit and how I went and I was actually in Toronto last weekend and had at Spirits of York and Aquavit. That was amazing. Show up the next day, and he brings me a dill Aquavit from a liquor company that no longer exists. They went out of business earlier this year. And I thought it'd be a nice way to end the night by trying some liquor that obviously I have never tried before because I just unwrapped it.
Is it liquor?
It is liquor. It is aquavit.
I don't know what that
that's-
means.
It's kind of like a Swedish or Danish vodka.
Okay. What's the
So-
proof on it then, I guess, right now? ABV?
We're talking 80 proof.
Oh,
So it's not a.
Where's my big cup?
Oh, I think I might have stole it. I wanted the cider. Sorry.
now when you say dill, do you mean like pickle dill?
It's made with like dill, the
Spice.
ingredient spice.
So it's going to be like a pickle.
I don't know.
Like a
I,
pickle.
I don't know why you're
don't
asking
think
me
dill-
questions
don't
when I
think
just
dill
said
spice
2
is
minutes
like
ago
dill, the pepper.
that I've never had it
It's
before.
like an amazing bag of chips.
An amazing bag of chips.
Yeah, it's like dill. It's like,
Am I right?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah,
not the.
it's absolutely smells like dill.
Dude, it's
It-
80
smells
proof.
Like dill and like menthol.
yeah.
Rob,
I don't know.
80
this,
proof.
This is
Oh
like
my
delicious.
Jesus.
It just cleared my sinuses.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God.
We're getting it around.
Oh, God.
I mean, Rob just went to town and was just like, all right, let's do it
I
too.
have to shave my
This is
nose hairs for a
smell,
long
man.
time.
Yeah.
Cap, Nick. Thank
Is this where you get the herbs and spices that you. Yeah.
So as we're trying this Recolte Meads,
afraid.
where are you guys located? How can they find you online? Twitter, Instagram, Tinder?
Not the Tinder, but all
Sorry, it
of the
comes
above.
Secret
Instagram, Facebook. We're located on Kirchville and Beaconsfield. Address is 15308 Kirchville. We're in Grosse Pointe Park, and please come by and visit us.
So
Definitely
it's
will.
about a block north of Atwater in the park.
Yeah, it's right by Atwater in the park. So if you're looking for a
Same
little
side.
alcohol tourism,
Yeah.
you hit up Atwater, you hit
When
up
it's-
Howlers and
no,
Growlers,
God, no.
Yep.
and you hit up.
Well, Howlers and Growlers is
We love
crossover
Howlers
on
and
Shells.
Growlers.
But I mean, I said alcohol tourism. I didn't
Yeah.
say alcohol walking tourism.
Howlers and Growlers is actually 2 blocks up from us.
Yeah, it's
So it's on
But that's to
Beaconsfield.
Charlevoix, right?
It's on
Charlevoix,
Beaconsfield and
Beaconsfield or
Charlevoix.
Charlevoix.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
so
you
we're on
just take Beaconsfield
Kirchville
up
and
and-
Beaconsfield.
Yeah, when it's too packed at Atwater, just roll over to Recolte Meads.
Or you can
That
find
place
what was
always
the
packed.
name of the tiki bar?
Lost River.
Lost River.
Yeah.
We love Lost River. Make sure you do a shout out to Ariel over there.
Yes, the whole team and gang over there
She
is
kicks
amazing.
ass.
They have an Indian pop up right now that I was
So
thinking about going to.
I'm
They
gonna
do
try
a
this now.
lot
No?
of really cool
Shaking your
food
head.
pop-ups.
No, the dill vodka is an absolute no go for me.
Dill vodka, absolute no go. Rob,
Yeah, sure, I'm good.
Disgusting.
No.
No.
It's a bit briny.
what about you guys?
It's interesting
No,
for sure.
no, interesting.
It's in.
Yeah, it hurts a little.
It hurts a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my lungs.
Don't do this, girls. Don't put dill in any of your ciders or meads, please.
I think I grew hair on my chest. This is awful.
Ch-ch-ch-chia.
This
Oh,
might be
I
the,
like it.
This might be the worst thing that anyone's ever brought to the show.
It's
Hold on. The only thing that this rivals
As opposed
is
to
yes.
the 2-year-old hop slam that Nick brought.
I think it was 3 years old.
2.5.
2.5.
3-year-old is coming in January.
The only thing that's worse than this is the E40 that Dan brought.
Oh my God, he loved that E40 too.
That tasted like licking the back of a postage stamp. And this tastes slightly worse than that.
This beats your Four Loco
No, it doesn't.
easily.
A dill
Is
Four
there-
Loco, you got it.
Like, is there like a menthol,
I mean, yeah.
It's just
here, or is
herbaceousness, I think.
or is it just from the dill?
I think it's
don't
just
know.
all from the dill.
Yeah.
I mean,
dill and
how
liquor.
is the cider gonna taste after that?
I put that to my lips and I spit it right back in the cup.
Got it.
I was not
Ooh,
going to
cider's
ingest
awesome.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
I mean, it did
wonderful.
smell like a bag of dill chips
Farmhouse.
when I first opened it.
Oh, yeah.
I was pretty excited about it, but
I don't even
it's
like
just not my favorite. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite.
it. I do hate this.
Guys, that's going to do it for us for Recolte Meads. We appreciate you coming on out, guys.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure.
Check out us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of the podcast formats. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, do all the fancy things that helps us bring people in.
Give us some
We-
damn ratings on iTunes.
Yeah, ratings on iTunes, that's for sure. And that's going to do it for us. Nick, Matt, Rob, we will be be here next week with Schoolcraft College. Actually, will be coming in, Mr. Block. It's been a minute since he's been in here, so he's going to be chatting with us. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's better on track.